Because there's a lot of you out there wondering, okay, I love fitness. I want to turn this into a business. So we want to know from Coach Patrice, how did you start? What were the beginning steps? And I know everybody wants to know, how'd you get the money? How'd you
Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time. Turn this thing on out. Now, let me see everybody do this. Let's go!
They wanna know.
Welcome to Who's That Girl, the show that celebrates women who are breaking boundaries, redefining success, and turning their dreams into reality. I'm your host, Chanel B, and I'm excited to take you behind the scenes of some truly inspiring journeys. We have had the honor of traveling throughout the DMV, selecting phenomenal women who have been breaking barriers, shattering records, and delivering on their dreams in the way that only women winning can. So get ready to meet the woman behind the wins as we find out who's that girl. This episode was brought to you by GSN Office Furniture, offering high-quality office furniture and creating solutions to enhance your workspace for over 30 years. GSN Office Furniture. Expect the best. Well, hello everyone, and welcome again to Who's That Girl. Today we are here with Coach Patrice, and we're gonna find out who this girl is. She is a fitness coach, and we all know that a lot of us wanna gain weight, lose weight, just be healthy, but we wanna know how she even got into this space, and we're gonna work out a little bit later, y'all. I can't wait for that part, or I don't know if I can wait for that part actually, but we wanna talk today about how she got into this space, and she's gonna show you exactly how she did that. And the first thing, though, we want to know, though, Patrice, is who is Coach Patrice?
Thank you for the introduction. That is a big question. Who is Coach Patrice? Coach Patrice is a friend. She's a sister. She's a mentor. She is your confidant, and she's the one that's going to push you. In a nutshell, I do a little bit of everything in the health and wellness industry, from nutrition, exercise, and mostly mindset coaching, just to teach women how to get their bodies to the best place that they want them to be without having strict goals, meaning you can't eat this, or you can't do that, or you have to do this, or you have to do that. Just find a balance to have a healthy lifestyle.
See, that's what I'm going to want to know today, because I think I get thrown off when I'm doing too much, because I have so much going on anyway.
Sure.
I'm a wife, I'm a mom of 4 kids, I run multiple businesses. So to have that strict, I guess, requirement or expectation of myself, sometimes it just throws me off if I'm not adhering to what I said I was going to do. So I can't wait till we can get into that. But let's go into the early years of how you even started. What made you want to get into fitness coaching?
So I've been a dancer my entire life. So moving my body and body awareness has been a thing for me. When I got to college, we were actually working out and dancing. That's when I was really introduced to the fitness part of it. So I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Fast forward a few years, my degree actually is in biology pre-med. So I've always been kind of into the body, helping people, that kind of thing. I started in 2015 as a fitness coach at CrossFit. And I was working there, doing my thing, and I really loved it and enjoyed it. And then after a while, it became a thing where, wait a minute, I'm bringing more business to him than he's bringing for himself. We need to make a pivot here and do something for myself. So November of 2015 is when I started. Back then, it was called Curves and Gains. That was the name of my company, Curves and Gains. And that's where I really started, just doing boot camp on the weekend, helping my friends, and it's been a journey from there.
See, I saw you when it was Curves and Gains because I wanted to come, okay? I was like, this is somebody who can help me because I'm the person that's not necessarily trying to lose. I'm always trying to gain, maintain. what made you kind of start with that? Because I have a son who's a travel baseball player, and he has that metabolism like me. So I've been telling him it's just as hard to gain versus trying to lose. So what made you start that way?
So it was really my community around me. One of my best friends, best friend of 30 years, she has the same challenge as your son. She always is trying to put weight on. Simultaneously, I had really good friends that had really challenges losing weight. So I started to realize, like, everybody kind of needed help. It just looked different and unique for each person. So me being able to be versatile and not just completely target my market too, which is the majority of people that want to lose weight. There is a market of people that do want to learn how to gain weight or gain muscle mass or maybe sculpt their body a little bit more. So that's when I had to diverse my training and my certifications to be able to help people, because that's genuinely what gets me started, just helping people.
Right.
I love that.
Now, when starting a business, we all talk about this target market, right? So when you had to drill down, did you feel like you were excluding people though, because you had friends wanting to do this, wanting to do that? So did you feel that way? Because I know a lot of people out here, when we are trying to get that target market, you want to include everybody, but you just can't in the beginning. So can you kind of talk about that from a business owner standpoint?
For sure. I mean, that was probably one of the most challenging things, because that's what drove me into business, like helping people. So it could be a senior citizen asking for help. It could be, hey, help my daughter. She wants to lose weight. You know, she's maybe getting teased at school. So I'm like, yeah, sure. Yeah. But then I had to realize, like, I do really well with high impact boot camp strength and conditioning. That is like my strong suit, and I need to make sure I'm serving that person, so I'm giving them their just due. That doesn't mean that I can't help a senior citizen. That doesn't mean that I can't help a teenage child, but am I giving them the best due, or am I doing that because it makes me feel good to help somebody else? So from a business standpoint, yeah, sure, you definitely feel like you're leaving some people out, or even possibly leaving money on the table.
Right.
You're like, hold on, wait a minute, we're just getting started. Let's get it in where we can. But at the same time, you have to make sure that everything you're doing is client driven and is service driven. So it says, okay, how can I best serve this person? If I can't best serve them, then they're not the client for me.
Now, even though you felt like you were bringing in more money for the person you were working for, did you always see yourself as an entrepreneur though? Because a lot of people feel like this was always going to be my thing, but then there's a lot of other people that say, I never saw myself as an entrepreneur, but how is it for you?
So I always knew I wanted to be in fitness in some realm. I equally knew I wanted to do something for myself, but never full time. Like, I never thought I would be a full-time entrepreneur. Now, you can look back in journals back in the day, I'm like, oh, I want to be a personal trainer, but it was probably more like on the side on the weekends, not, a full capacity entrepreneur. That's something that kind of developed over time. To be completely transparent, I feel like God was kind of nudging me, like, I need you to think bigger. I need you to grow more. I need you to serve more people. So I kind of was just more obedient in my walk, and it became full entrepreneur. But to say that was my plan, no.
Yeah. I know that your physical strength is one thing, but you are very strong in your faith.
Yes.
Where did that come from?
I was born and raised in church. I was one of those kids that went to church 4 to 5 times a week. We were in everything from the sign language ministry to the usher board and Girl Scouts. So that was my foundation. So I have to thank my parents for that. And that carried with me. I was the girl that went to the club in college and then came home and went to church. Like, that was foundation, and it always kind of centered me at my core. And then when I got to the point where I lost my job 5 months after starting my business, I was like, okay, God, I didn't know you meant that quick. Like, you didn't let me get my money up. Like, what's happening here? So that really made me look like, okay, I really need to focus in on my faith. I feel like in the valleys is when you get closer to God, when you don't really know what to do. So I always say, like, don't miss the lesson in the valley. Most of us try to get out real quick, but like, there's a moment to learn and grow in the valley, and I feel like that has strengthened my faith in my more adult years.
That was a word, like we say. That was a golden nugget right there, because it's a struggle at times for entrepreneurs. And I believe that you have to have faith as an entrepreneur,
100%.
because you're going to have those highs, but what's going to happen during those lows is something that you have to lean on. And as a young adult growing up, and we see the girls today, when it comes to their confidence and all this stuff that they're dealing with right now, because you're in fitness, and somebody may say, well, can you work with my daughter? Do you see that when you work with younger people, it really helps with their overall confidence and their self-esteem? And how does that play a role in all of that stuff?
100%. I feel like now, in comparison to any time, it's way more challenging on the youth because social media is so huge. So before, it was like the one girl in school you may admire. She might be like the cool girl, the pretty girl. But now when you have a whole internet of pressure, if you will, it makes it that much more challenging. So I think foundationally it does help in the home, but even the parents that say, hey, I need to like reach out, I need to solicit more support, giving them an opportunity to come into something like this. So we do like mentorships with some girls. It's called Girls Evolving. We do mentorships with them. It's an opportunity for them to be able to see themselves in a different space and to see someone that looks like them. You're going through the same thing I'm going through. You're having the same challenges I'm having. We might not go to the same school, but we can relate on the same way. So it's really, really important that they are able to have some type of community within themselves to be able to build themselves up.
As we think about you not necessarily being a mom, right? Because some people would say, well, she's not a mom, she doesn't know, but you do know. You work with women
All day.
All day, right? All day. And so when you work with younger people, do you do those types of affirmations and all of that stuff as well?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Because coming into my space, I always tell people they're already at an extremely vulnerable point, even when they make the first call. They have identified something they don't like about themselves. Whether it was like a triggering moment, like, oh man, I tried to put on my favorite jeans and I couldn't zip them. Or they, maybe saw a picture of themselves like, oh my gosh, look at my arm. Like something triggered them that they feel some level of insecurity just from coming in the door. So I'm like, hey, okay, let's do it. Like already giving them the energy when they come in so it can kind of like desensitize them a little bit. And then, training is a relationship. So any relationship, the first thing you got to do is get to know the person and build trust. So during that time while you're building trust, I'm affirming you. I'm listening to what your concerns are. I could say to you, oh man, she probably doesn't need to lose that, but that's devaluing what's important to you. So okay, if you say it's 10, all right, girlfriend, it's 10. Let's get this 10 off. Making sure I'm meeting them where they are, understanding everybody comes in at a different space mentally and emotionally. There's been plenty of times that people came in and we just talked and we ended with prayer, and I say, okay, we'll try again tomorrow. No exercise today, no big deal. Just making them kind of realize like this is a safe space. Out there, I can't control. When you come in here, I want you to feel as comfortable as possible because it's a very, very vulnerable space.
Now, I feel like I need her as a trainer, right? So you guys see first the energy, okay? But you need people like you to be able to pour into you in other types of ways.
Thank you.
Because when you said something triggers you to feel like you need to work on something. A lot of us don't think about it like that when we say, I need to lose this, I need to gain this, I don't look a certain way, I need to hide this. We don't necessarily think about it as a trigger for us, but it really is.
It is.
And when you have someone that can pour into you and your mind outside of just helping your body, that is very important. So what made you really understand that mindset piece was a big thing?
Honestly, my own journey. So as far as I can remember, my mom always worked out. She was the jazzercise lady. She was step aerobics. I mean, she did everything as far as I can remember. But I also remembered as a kid, and I'm talking about like a kid, like 8, 10, 11 years old. She always like, oh man, I gotta lose weight. Oh man, I gotta lose weight. And I was a little kid like, when is she ever gonna just be okay? Like she just always has chasing this lose weight. So I kind of was hypersensitive about my weight in college. Like, oh man, I can't gain it because then I'm gonna be like my mom. My whole life trying to lose weight. And it really became like a very like toxic situation for me where I would like the French fries and the chicken wings and all that stuff. And then I'd be like, okay, I'm not gonna eat for like 2 days because I did too much. It was a very toxic relationship with me, food, my weight and things like that. But what made me really realize what the bigger issue was, it was here. It had nothing to do with how many reps I did in the gym or, what I ate and didn't eat. It was what I thought about me. So I was like, you gotta kind of get to the root of it. Like, I really had, I think, a phobia based on what I saw in my household. And now my mom's a nurse and she taught us about our bodies and things like that, but she still had that chase to desire more. And I asked her, even when I started my company, like, when do you feel that you're there? Like, when do you have the confidence to be like, I don't care. I'm going to eat a cupcake and the fries. I don't care. And we had a very intimate moment, and that's what made me get into the mindset coaching, really just understanding, like, because if you don't understand the source, like, I can burpee you to death in here. It doesn't matter if we don't figure out, like, what is driving this desire? Is it because your knees hurt every time you do something? Okay, I understand that. Or is it literally fear? Or, you know, some people that lose a little bit and then they gain it right at the end. That's that security blanket. You feel naked, you feel vulnerable, you're losing too much weight, you're exposed. What are you scared to show? So getting deep into it, that is what's going to eventually keep it off. I can make you lose weight quick, but if you don't have it here, it'll come right back.
I'm learning so much today because we really don't think that deep when it comes to working out and wanting to. I always say that I don't want to work out. I know I should work out to be healthy. I want to work out to look good. I want to work out to look my best. Now, as I've gotten older, because I have 4 kids, of course I think about, I want to be healthy for my family, but really, I want to look good. And some people will look at me like, oh, you know, what are you talking about? You don't have to do anything. But like you said, that each individual has that thing. And I like Beyonce's Flaws and All, right? When somebody like that can point out some flaws that she has, we all have them. But what about you just being there, being okay? And I love going on vacation. I love going on vacation because it's like nobody knows me. Nobody's ever going to see me again. I don't care what I look like. But then when I come back to reality, it's like, oh no, I got to work out. I got to get rid of this. I got to be this person. And that vacation, when we talk about designing a life that you don't have to take a vacation from, let's look at that as far as your appearance too. Right?
Yes.
Because we can get to that place where it's, I don't have to get away. My mindset doesn't have to be, I can be around other people and not care. Why can't I be around my friends and my family and the people that I work with and do business with and just not care and say, this is who I am? So how would you get someone like me, a busy mom, a wife, entrepreneur, how would you get me started so I can start to see some type of results where I want to keep going?
Right. So we start with incremental goals, like start with the small stuff. So let's just say, you know, maybe you say, my water intake isn't great. I got room to grow there. We'll work on that. Focus on that. And then I
think she knows me.
I like to focus on the things that you can control that make sense. My sister also has 4 children, small kids. She also runs a business. She also works full time. So she is my lens into the woman that I serve, being able to see day to day and things like that. So I usually just try to meet you where you are. If I'm gonna give you a meal plan, I'm not gonna give you a meal plan with chicken breast, broccoli, and brown rice for 4 days straight. Your kids are gonna be like, hello? Where are the tacos? What are we doing? So like even things like that, having a mindset of understanding, it's probably better to give you some things you can throw in a crock pot and I say set it and forget it. Or maybe do more prepared meals versus cooking. Preparing is like making a salad. Cooking is like, you got the raw chicken breast, you gotta dice it up. You know, that takes too much time. So just understanding your lifestyle, your needs, and being able to meet you there. Certain things, they don't have to be in absolutes. I don't live in absolutes. I was eating fruit snacks before you came in here. Like, I don't live in absolutes. That world does not exist to me. So I have to make sure that I serve the same way I lead.
Yeah, that chicken, broccoli, rice every single day, it gets
happening.
boring.
Yes.
And nobody wants to do that all of the time. And I think that frustration, when you start to feel that, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I need to have something fun. I need to have something feasible. I need to have something that works for me. So when you say I meet people where they are, it's not a one size fit all.
And absolutely.
And I don't know that some trainers understand that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the difference of having, and I hate to sound gender biased, but when a woman can connect to a woman, it's a different experience, 100%. Even down to the exercises that we do, it just makes a little more sense with the connection because there's an understanding of things that you don't even have to share that I get. Even like I try to teach my clients the cycles of your cycle. There's certain days in the month where your fatigue level is going to be extremely high. I'm going to have to adjust your workout accordingly because you're not going to be able to do the box jump, burpee into whatever. Those are the days we need to just resistance band, squat, something that's a little more subtle. So again, things that are understood don't have to be said in certain situations, and it all depends on the woman. It's all different.
It's interesting that you talk about that because I don't think as just an individual client, whatever, just a woman, we don't realize that stuff all plays a role in why we may not feel like feel like we can't do certain things on certain days. We don't take that into consideration, the stuff that you just talked about.
Yeah.
And that is very eye-opening because some days it's like I'm more tired today.
Sure.
Like I feel more bloated today. I feel this today. And you're right, all of that plays a part. So as we talk about opening up your own space though, because there's a lot of you out there wondering, okay, I love fitness, I want to turn this into a business, but people don't know where to start.
Right.
And Who's That Girl is really about learning who the girl is next door that can possibly change everything for you.
Right.
So we want to know from Coach Patrice, how did you start? What were the beginning steps? And I know everybody wants to know, how'd you get the money? How'd you get the capital to start doing something like this? I mean, you have your own space now, and but let's start from the very beginning.
So the very, very, very beginning of this process, it was something that I always desired to do. I wanted to get to the point where the place where I was subleasing that I had a wait list of at least 3 weeks, meaning capacity-wise, before I even considered looking. So that took several years. Of course, I wanted to move. I wanted it to be my own, but I was like, again, waiting on God, because if you move before him, then you'll be asking him to get you out the mess. So what ended up transpiring for me after the pandemic, and we were kind of getting comfortable with coming out, but not so much, the end of 2021, I went to just like an entrepreneur goal setting workshop, and I wrote everything down, like literally how much money I wanted to bring in, how many personal trainers I wanted to hire. I wrote everything down. I wrote down the date of my grand opening. Mind you, I had no realtor or nothing like that, but I just knew, like, I have to be specific, just like they say, write the vision, make it plain. It was very, very specific. After that, I just started communicating with people that had already done it. I was not a person afraid to say, how did you do that? Can you tell me? Do you mind if I call you and ask you questions? I was not shy about that because I feel like we are all a representation of our community. So if I can ask and get a little bit from this person, even people that weren't into fitness, that just were successful in business, it was something I could learn from them as well. So I did that. Leading up to actually acquiring this space, I came here and this was way out of my budget. And I'm not talking about like 20%. We're talking about like 50% above. And I was like, okay, God, this was cool. Like, thanks for showing me what I'll have in 5 years. Like, this is not it. Like, we're not doing it. And the landlord, every time I came with my dad. He's a residential real estate agent. So I had him and the commercial agent. And the landlord was like, we got 3 offers. Yours was the lowest. One was from a federal contract. One, they had more business experience. And then it was you. So I'm like, then she comes back literally a week later as we're burying my uncle, who unfortunately we lost during this time. I'm not even in the state. We're at the repast. They call and was like, she said it was something about you and your relationship with your dad. I tear up every time I tell this story. That she wanted to do business with you because she felt your sincerity. And I just always say to people, if I would have just threw in the towel and not put an offer in because the number was so high and I was intimidated and I was like, this isn't for me, I would have never had an opportunity to get a yes. I mean, the number was high, let's be clear. Like, it was high. There was no reason I should have even put an offer in. I was doing classes on Zoom. I had like 8 people in my class. Like, the math was not math by no stretch of imagination. But I was like, okay, God, like, I feel like this is it. I prayed hard about it. And I did it. So once I got the place, I'm like, oh, this is wonderful. Okay, so the money, like, the money, we still don't have the money. Like, what's happening? So what I ended up doing, again, reaching out to people that I knew. It was 3 people that had previously owned gyms before the pandemic, and they just started giving me stuff. My best friend called me and said, I put money to the side. I knew this day was coming. How much you need? And I'm like, again, this started with my yes. If I didn't say yes, none of this would have happened. So it just kept trickling down like that. The same guy that started the CrossFit gym where I left, he said, hey, I closed in the pandemic. I have my garage full of stuff. If you can come and get it, it's yours. Like, it just literally kept happening like that. So certain things I had a plan for because I was saving my money, but certain things, like, you just got to take that first step. Even hanging the mirrors, one of my friends was like, I'm just going to send my uncle over there. He'll do it for you. Like, it was just, and it kept happening. It kept happening. The landlord even said, you know, you came in and you just did so many great things. We're going to paint the walls for you for free. I mean, it just was like that. So I know that it's hard to be like, well, that was your story. That ain't gonna happen to me. That's not true. Yours could be even bigger and better. You know what I mean? It could be even leaps and bounds. Did I get a bank loan? 100%. Yes, I did. I mean, it took a lot. I literally built this. It was no floors in here. So we did everything still in the floor. But to say that I had the capital and I was just ready to go, no. It was a lot of faith, a lot of prayer in my community that just was like, we got your back. Let's do it together.
What an inspiring story. And when we talk about friends getting together to start businesses, prime example, your friends just stepping in and saying, here, I got you. It's important to have those types of people in your life.
And it's not always the ones you think it's gonna be. That's what I was just telling a good friend of mine who's just recently opened a gym. Like, don't spend your time being so frustrated because it wasn't this person. Some of the people that have my back the most, they have no relation to me. I didn't know them from anything. They just came to a class and they got closer to me over time. So some of it is friends and family, and some of it is just gonna be your chosen family, your community, that is gonna have your back like that. I mean, that's the way it happened to me. We had about 25 people in here going for it.
Wow. Now, I've been in the multi-level marketing industry for a very long time, and we always tell people, the people you think will want to do it probably won't. The people that probably you think won't want to do it probably will. And this is a prime example of you have no idea who is going to step in and just help you. But it also is a prime example about what God has for you is for you. It does not matter what it may look like on the outside, but whatever he has for you, he has for you. And he's gonna put the right people and everything in place for you to get what's yours. So there is no competition. At Women Winning Worldwide, W3 Network, we talk collaboration over competition because it's so much out here for everyone. And because people helped you, you will now do the same.
For sure, 100%.
And so for people to hear that story, one, I hear you talk about your faith. That's number one. So have faith, pray hard, write it down, make it plain, have those set goals in place, and allow God to expand your vision.
That's the
Don't limit yourself.
Right, because I didn't ask for certain things because I couldn't get past what I thought. But when I just I changed my prayers to like, God, just make me healthy to be able to sustain, and humble to be able to receive and stay at this point, whatever you give me. And when I started pivoting my prayers, the expansion became bigger. Like literally right now, 2 of my good friends, they're gym owners, no longer have their gym, and I'm housing all 3 of our businesses here. Because I said yes. You know, if I didn't have something, you know, it's just like, you never know what God is gonna do before you. When you think like, oh, okay, yeah, it's gonna be this, it's like, no, just let him work, get out the way. You never know. Like, you just never know.
And so, guys, we are actually going to do a workout today. Coach Patrice is gonna show me some things. My partner is here as well. She's gonna show us some different things because I'm the one that wants to gain and maintain. I want the curves and gains, but my partner does not, okay? And so we're gonna actually be doing that. So we're gonna take a break. We're gonna come back and we're gonna get ready to do a workout with Coach Patrice. Okay, guys, so now we are about to get this workout on. We have my partner Cheryl here and Coach Patrice. She's going to be showing us some different techniques to make sure this workout is specific to us. And that's what a lot of times we don't get to see, how trainers work with each individual. So we are here for it. I don't know. She has me with some body bully bands. I'm not sure if I'm ready for this, but I'm here. So let's go.
Totally. So do you want to start first?
I'll start first.
Okay, perfect. So typically when I start with any client, I always figure out what's most important to them so you can tell me what problem area or where you want to focus.
I want to focus here.
Okay.
But I also want to focus here.
Okay.
I have 4 kids and, you know, I want to look good with nothing on.
Amen to that. All right, so I have the body bully band here, like you said. So go ahead and slip that on. You're going to put it right mid-thigh. So the reason I'm using the band for her because she does not want to lose weight. She wants to kind of work on her gains and then maintain. And of course, look good wearing anything or nothing for that matter. So pull it up just a little bit higher. We're going to do 3 basic exercises for the lower body and then I'll show you one for your core, okay? So we're going to start with a traditional squat. You're just going to sit back on your heels and come back up. Perfect, just like that. So the biggest thing with a squat when you're trying to do it for your glutes, you want to really sit backwards instead of going straight down. So let's just do like 3 or 4. Yep, straight down like that. Go back into the chair. Make sure you can like wiggle your toes. That's how you know you're in the right position. Perfect. So if you're like, I want to take it up another level, I want something more challenging, you're going to grab the weights too. I know you got it. Come on, let's just do 3. Come on, let's do 3. Here we go. Sit back in the chair.
I'm doing it like
no,
this.
just holding it straight
Okay.
down. Yep,
Like
Look
this?
by your sides,
Okay.
sure. And then just sit and stand. So that just adds a little more to it. Just know if you're trying to do gains or you're trying to increase your muscle mass, you want to add weight and do low amounts of reps. So in a normal situation, you'll probably do like 10 to 12. Okay? So we're good with that. How you feel?
I feel
You
it.
crushed it. I know you would. You crushed it. So I'm going to start with you. Are you ready?
I'm taking this off.
Yes, you can take it off. You can take it off. So tell me specifically what areas you want to focus on. Where would you like for me to work?
So from the neck down.
Okay. Perfect. I'm glad you actually said that because being active is so important. Sometimes people feel like they have to go all the way in, but just being active, being on a treadmill, you're already putting yourself ahead of the game. So we're going to grab these small weights right here. These are 3-pound weights. So when weight loss is your goal, you don't want to overdo it with weight. The biggest thing, you want to get your heart rate up. So we're going to do a couple of things to get your heart rate up and you're not even going to have to jump.
Okay.
Okay? Okay? Don't worry. So you're going to kind of just slightly bend your knees and we're going to do some boxing punches where you just take your arms out just like that, right? The pace that you go is a comfortable pace for you. So if that's this, that's totally fine. If you want to just go ahead and go for it, that's fine. The goal here is just to get your heart rate up and punch from the shoulder. Yeah, go for it. Go for it. There you go. So if you're doing this at home, instead of thinking about how many times I have to do this, do it for about 45 seconds. Go for it as fast as you can. Now let's do it without the weights. Same thing. Put the weights down, and now let's go for it. Punch it out. You notice how she sped up, right? So when you do it with the weights, it kind of gives you a little bit of resistance. Then you put the weights down, you can speed it up a little bit faster. So you see you're breathing harder a little bit more because you're able to increase your heart rate.
So this was fun. We can do it at home. You guys can do it at home. And so as we wrap up, we always have this one question for everyone. And that is, in this very moment, what does winning mean to you?
Oh man, in this very moment, winning means just being comfortable in my own skin and being proud of myself. I'm 8 years into business right now. I spent probably all 8 chasing, trying to do something. Winning for me now is like, I did it. I have done it. Of course, I have goals and more things that I want to do, but that feels like winning for me right now because I'm at peace with what I have done, and I know God is going to call me to do even greater. But if He doesn't, and this is where I am, I'm winning.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I love that.
Yeah.
And this is a woman winning, guys. Tell them where they can follow you on your social handles.
Yes, so everything is 7 p.m. Fitness, at 7 p.m. Fitness on Instagram and Facebook. If you want to work out with me, you're not local to the area, my YouTube channel, 7 p.m. Fitness, or you can put in my name, Patrice Murphy. And then, of course, if you are local, you want some services or some virtual services, you can go to 7pmfitness.com.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Coach Patrice. I know Cheryl, she's still breathing over there. But this
She
was
did
so
great.
much fun. Thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
talking to us today. And so people can really get to know who Coach Patrice is and
Yes.
how you started all of this. And it was really about standing on your faith.
Yes, 100%.
Oh my gosh, it was just so much into this conversation, guys. We look forward to seeing all of you on our next Who's That Girl?